Should we lift them up a little?
I raise you up. Hello everyone, my name's Callista and
I'm her sister Gabby.
we're back with another video. You already read the title, so you know what's gonna happen. We're just gonna have some fun girl talk today. And if you hear wheezing, that's our dog. He's sitting.
Our elderly chubby beagle.
Look at, yep, he's right there. Look at it. Yeah.
Do you want to screw them up a little?
There he is. So just for some background, I am 22. She is 20. And we also have another sister who is 17, which is crazy. And Andy, and this guy right here, he is 14.
The ripe age.
Yeah.
14.
Yeah, but I think he could make it to 22, so. Also, just an update. Look at him, you baby! Okay, so I've curated some questions from other YouTubers who have done videos like this. So, the first question, relationships. Pros and cons. I have never been in a relationship. So, Gabby,
Yes, I
take
do
it away.
I have a bit more experience
Mm-hmm.
in that realm.
Oh yeah, look at him.
Also, he chose me. He's sitting in front of me.
I know. I feel
He's
a little
chosen one.
betrayed, but it's fine.
Oh.
Just look at that.
Oh yeah.
What were the things you loved most about being in a relationship?
I feel like the pros and cons depend on what stage of your life that you are currently in. Like in high school, pros and cons, I feel like the pro is like you're just excited to have a boyfriend or girlfriend or partner. I'm trying to bring myself back into the high school days.
No.
It's exciting to like have someone walk with you in the hallway and like meet you during study hall and at lunch. I feel like it's exciting in high school because like you kind of know everyone. So when you are in a relationship, everyone knows that. Oh, and there's like prom and dances. So being in a relationship, and like I feel like in high school, one of the big perks is just having a prom day and like getting and knowing you're gonna be asked to prom and like homecoming and all that. For me, I in college I've only done long distance, so I never like met someone in college. Oh, okay.
He readjusted.
He readjusted.
Yeah.
His bare butt is on my leg.
How do you feel about that?
Let me just stick his tail there.
Okay.
So I feel like in college, wait, I didn't say cons of high school.
Oh,
Cons of high school. I feel like in high school, most people are very immature. So usually if you're in a relationship in high school, you're kind of figuring out what you want in a relationship, like how to be mature, how to navigate fights, and like just communicating with your significant other. So that can always be a bit messy. And then there's also like everyone in high school, so everyone kind of knows like your drama, and if you're in a fight you have to like go to school and see them, which can always be a little awkward. I remember like one time me and my boyfriend at the time, we were like in our first like big fight, so we weren't talking to each other, but then like we went to school, like we literally were in the same study hall but just like not talking to each other, and at the time it was so awkward because I was like, wow, he's literally sitting like the next row over, and we were just like ignoring each other, which is really awkward. Which wouldn't really happen if you were like an adult. You wouldn't like ignore your significant other in the classroom. So a very high school thing to do.
Moving into young adulthood, you're in college. What are the pros and cons?
Pros. I think college is when you really start needing more support, and like you appreciate having a support system more and just having someone to encourage you to like try new things, to be brave. Or that's how it was for me. Just having someone who was like a cheerleader who believed in you when you didn't believe in yourself is something I always appreciated in my like relationship in college. By the way, I'm single now. This is just from past experience. I don't know why, but in college there are a lot more cons in my mind that I experienced. Just
she was long distance too.
And I feel like I actually liked being long distance better, especially going into college, because then you kind of get to have your own life, your own hobbies, like your own community of friends separate from your significant other, but they're always still there for you and they can visit and like experience that with you, but but you're still separated.
Yeah, you're like growing up independently.
Yeah,
but you can still rely on each other.
So every time I said goodbye to him, though, I literally cried and was like so sad to leave, but I'm still grateful for the long distance and like would prefer it that way. Also, a pro for me was just like going into college, I felt very secure having a relationship, because like college guys kind of scared me, and like whenever I would go out, I would be like, okay, I have a relationship, like I'm safe, don't have to worry about all that like guy drama that some of my other friends had to go through. So that was nice to me.
I feel like it's also a nice excuse. Like if you're not interested in a guy, you just say, oh, sorry, I have a boyfriend. I'm in a relationship.
I don't know why, but like other men just respect the reason that you have a boyfriend, and they'll just like back off immediately. But like when I was single and I would be like, no, that's when they'd pressure and be like, oh, like why not? Like they kind of keep pestering you. But if you're like, oh, I have a boyfriend, they like immediately just stop and leave you alone.
I feel like that just shows that they respect like your boyfriend, the man or boy,
yeah,
more than they respect you as a woman, which is unfortunate because I feel like I've had that problem a lot where I won't be interested in a guy and I'll say like, oh, like I'm not interested, I'm not looking for anything right now, but then he'll still keep pushing and asking me questions and he won't leave, and I'm like, bruh. Like it would be easier if I could lie and just be like, oh yeah, I have a boyfriend, sorry. But for me, lying is not the first thing that comes to mind, and I'm also really bad at it. So yeah, maybe I just need to learn how to do that, or I just need a boyfriend for the sake of saying that only.
I recommend just lying and saying you have a boyfriend if like some guy isn't leaving you alone. It's unfortunate we have to think this way, but that's also a good way of letting guys down without like offending them, because sometimes if you offend them, they get like even more persistent and upset. So
yeah, I know. I feel like the times where it's like scariest to turn down a guy is when you are alone. Like one time I was just walking my dog and this car like pulled up really fast on the side of the road. I was like, my heart was racing because I didn't know what this car was doing. And then he rolled down his window. First he complimented my dog and I was like, oh, it's a dog lover. He likes Stitch, or you know, our handsome pit bull lab mix. But then he was like, oh, like you're beautiful. Can I take you out for coffee? And I was like, oh, no. And I was like trying to leave, but he kept asking me questions. Then he asked again, like, are you sure I can't take you out for coffee? And I was like, I'm sure. This guy was also like 35 and he asked me how old I was, and I was like, oh, I'm 22. And he's like, oh, I'm 35. Like, that's not a big difference, right? And I was like, for me, 13 years is a little bit much of a difference.
yeah.
So yeah, I could have avoided all of that. And now the next question is, what is a non-negotiable for a significant other? I think for me, when I think of like traits that I want my future boyfriend, future partner to have, I want him to be extroverted and sociable and someone who is supportive but also adventurous and like pushes me out of my comfort zone, because I want someone who I can grow with. Like right now I'm still young, only 22, and I feel like there's a lot more growing up to do, a lot more maturing, and someone who will challenge me, will let me challenge him, and we can grow together and have adventures and experience life.
My like number one non-negotiable is that he has to have like the same morals and political views as me. I know it's kind of like a touchy subject, like,
and just like have the same values.
Have the same values.
Because that's also something for me.
If the guy doesn't vote, for example, I don't know if I could like get past someone who doesn't care enough to vote, just because it matters a lot to me.
Yeah, because you want your partner to advocate for you and other communities, whether or not he is a part of them or not.
Another one is, I feel like, I don't know if this is a non-negotiable, but this is just something I prefer, is like someone who can make me laugh and have fun. And then the last thing that is like a non-negotiable is someone who's kind and like compassionate and just has a good heart.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if anyone is just like super kind or like will always tip or like small things like that, I'll just like slowly fall in love with someone like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I feel like someone who my family also loves, you know?
Our mom would like love anyone though.
I know, she would love everyone.
If you bring like any boy home, she'll fall in love. Like Clissa's prom date from junior year of high school, like they were just prom dates. They weren't like dating or anything like that.
Yeah, we were just friends.
My mom asked about him for like years later. She just like falls in love.
Yeah, she's like, oh, he's such a nice boy. Yeah. How's he doing? I'm like, I don't know. I think he's good. Yeah. So next question. I didn't even know what this meant. I had to ask Gabby. But like, what are your icks? Like, is an ick something that you don't like? I feel like people know what icks are.
It's just like things that people can do that like just makes you like cringe. I can't remember either.
I feel like an ick I have in other people is when they're very self-centered. Not necessarily selfish. Like they could be like actively like trying to help other people and like being generous, but you can always tell like when someone is self-centered because like they're always focusing more on like themselves and what will help them the most, what's most convenient for them. So I think that's an ick of mine.
Yeah, definitely an ick. I feel like I don't have very many icks, but I need to find that TikTok. Like all the comments are listing icks and I was like, yes, yes, yes.
Someone not liking dogs. Is that a bad ick to have?
No, I feel like I would need to date someone who loves dogs.
I know. Like I like cats. I'm not against cats and I support you if you're a cat person, but I'm just such a dog person.
Oh, like when, wait, I don't know if it's mean to say when guys are scared of dogs.
Oh,
you know, when a dog comes near them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not an ick, but I'm always, it's just like, they can have past trauma that makes them scared of dogs, so I'm not going to judge them, but I'm always like, it makes me laugh a little. Oh wait, I had an ick in my mind.
Do you want to think about it while I
One of them is like, when you're at a concert and like, you know those guys who start mosh pits even though the song isn't like a mosh pit song? I've like seen it happen, like seen the two guys like lock eyes and like yell at each other and start it, and I'm just like, why? Like,
yeah, I just try to stay far away from those because I don't want to die.
Yeah, I'm just like, no thank you. I feel like another ick is like when people make jokes that like embarrass other people in the group.
Oh yeah.
And then everyone like laughs at their expense, and it's not like one of those like lighthearted jokes that are really, that like is funny, but like one that actually makes them feel like embarrassed, you know?
Dang, yeah. If you do that, you're a terrible person. Just putting that out there. Moving on to another question. Have you ever struggled with body image?
I feel like for most people the answer would be yes, of course.
Yeah, of
yes. Oh my gosh. Like someone could look perfect in your eyes and they are still struggling with body image and like confidence and everything.
I think for me, body image really, I guess, came to the forefront of my mind was like kind of halfway through college, because I feel like that's maybe when my metabolism started to slow down. That's when I actually noticed like, oh, I'm gaining weight. I didn't know how to think about it. I wanted my body to go back to the way it was. It's also a tough subject too.
Yeah, this is like something that's difficult to talk about because even now, like I still struggle with this every day. Just trying to be confident and trying to love myself. That was like one of my main goals for 2021 was just more self-love and being nicer to my body and myself, because your body really does a lot for you and you need to appreciate that instead of always just hating on it, which is something that I'm guilty of.
What I would do when I wasn't satisfied with how my body looked, it wasn't necessarily like anything super drastic. It was more like, oh, I just would never weigh myself. I would just avoid looking at myself when I was naked or like in like a swimsuit or anything like that. Even like now, sometimes it's hard when you're like a little more bloated or you have put on weight after the holidays, or whenever I go home, I eat a lot more than I do when I'm living on my own, just because there's so much good food here. And changes to your diet and eating habits, like it is going to affect your body short term or long term, depending on what it is you're doing. For me, just acknowledging that when your body changes and your body shape changes, that's very normal. Our bodies aren't meant to be the same as they were a year ago, 5 years ago, when we were teenagers. Just acknowledging that, yeah, my body changes, and that's a good thing because it means my body's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's keeping me alive.
And I feel like when you're feeling down about yourself, it like ruins your day for everything else. So like if you're hanging out with friends, you just notice that you're more sad, or like if your friends want to take pictures or you're doing something like that, you just like find yourself not wanting to do that, not wanting to participate. And then if your friends like want to have, you know, like a nice, like go for dessert, have like a midnight snack or do anything like that, and your immediate reaction is like, oh, like I don't want to do that because you're just feeling bad about yourself. It's really hard to like retrain your brain to like recognize that if something's gonna make you happy, if treating yourself to some dessert or just letting yourself have a nice meal is gonna make you happy in that moment, then it is worth it. Like you don't have to do that negotiation in your brain where it's like, if I eat this meal tonight, then I have to eat like a healthy breakfast and lunch tomorrow and eat like a small dinner, or like I have to work out extra hard or go for a longer walk. Like I still struggle with every time like I do something like that. It's like a give and take in my brain where I have to negotiate, like, okay, like give yourself this cheat meal but then like make up for it, and it shouldn't be like that. So it's like a good thing to try to work on that. And I feel like it's important to remember that having like an unhealthy day or like eating unhealthy for a weekend or even a week isn't going to affect like your weight or your health long term. Just like eating really healthy for a week isn't really going to have a long-term impact.
So might as well treat yourself to that Taco Bell or whatever you love.
To sum it all up, just do things that you know will make you feel happy and good about yourself. Like if it's been a rough week, which let's face it, in college is every single week, and you want to eat like a good dinner and like get some serotonin that way, then do it. And like if you want to go on a walk because you know they'll make you happy and make your body and your mind feel better, then do it, you know. It's just about what makes you feel good and makes you feel happy. And you know, it's been a tough past year, so just be kind to yourself, be like forgiving to yourself.
Yeah, if your body changed this past year, that makes sense.
Yeah,
it's been a rough year mentally, so it's okay if that's reflecting in your physical form. Body changes are normal, especially over the course of a difficult year. If you are trying to take care of yourself, trying to do things that make you happy, then that's enough. Anyways, we enjoyed having this girl talk with you. If you made it to the end, we appreciate you. We love you. We thank you for joining us today. Feel free to give this video a thumbs up for more content and subscribe for more videos. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Yay! Look at it. Oh, go. Oh, his nose was like a giant blur.
CJ